I've heard many people say, India is not a place you can explain. It's something you have to feel. The sounds, the energy, the crowds, the unknown. It was overwhelming, surreal, almost feeling like something from a dream. There was a bit of fear, uncertainty, but the moment I grabbed my camera, it was all gone. And then, there was that moment. Hidden deep in a while, we found ourselves face to face with the tigers. This was also a special trip, the first time we finally managed to travel together. I knew that to truly experience India, I had to let go. Fully open myself to whatever was coming. To embrace discomfort, to slow down, to feel. I had just landed in India a few hours ago, and yet it already felt like I had been here for days. New Delhi was the meeting point with my friend Dario. One day to sync with the city before the real journey began. We were heading to the Kumbh Mela, the largest religious gathering on earth. More than 500 million people come together for it. And only happens once every 144 years. But little did we know, challenges were already waiting for us. A bus ride that stretched far beyond what we expected. 18 hours on the road, only to be dropped in the middle of nowhere, still kilometers away from our destination. From there, everything became a test of patience. Crowded streets overflowing with people, endless walking, and the weight of our bags. At one point, the only choice left was to throw ourselves into a local tuk-tuk that was passing by and trust it would take us where we needed to go. And this was just the beginning. Everything was overwhelming. The next morning, after a much-needed sleep, we woke up very early to walk towards the Kumbh Mela. So many people, it was hard even to walk, hard to focus, hard to put creativity to work. Right at this moment, I realized one simple lesson: to stay open and embrace whatever comes. And in that chaos, I saw how faith moves people. How belief in something greater can bring millions together and make impossible things to happen. But it also made me look inside. Faith is not only about religion. It's about the strength we can build within ourselves, the values we carry. That's where spirituality truly begins. And carrying those reflections with me, I finally arrived to Varanasi. For some reason, the feeling I had was a feeling of being welcome, peace, energy, and admiration. Not the cultural shock I was expecting. This place is often called one of the world's oldest living cities. Over thousands of years, it became a spiritual center where people believe life and death come together. Where souls can be moved beyond the endless cycle of rebirth. The Ghats, along the Ganges, more than 80 of them, are the art of that belief. Some are for bathing, some for prayers, and some even for funeral ceremonies. At one of the most sacred places burns an unbroken fire for thousands of years. Funeral fires are lit from this flame, and many believe that to be cremated here brings freedom for the soul. Here life doesn't end, begins again. It felt weirdly familiar. We had the chance to witness a special ceremony led by a guru. I stood close. I felt energy in the air. I couldn't be indifferent. In that moment, it was obvious. I was feeling something. Varanasi was indeed a special place for me. Not what I was expecting, but definitely a place I felt most connected with on this entire trip. I arrived expecting mystery. I left changed. In Varanasi, I glimpsed how few boundaries truly are between life and death, how they are both part of the same cycle. Here, everything felt so different. So quiet. Weirdly quiet. Finally, the team was together for the rest of the trip. Everything felt right.
Boat, car, boat. So, we're gonna cross to the other side by ferry. But the ferry is 2 canoes with a piece of land. Very questionable. Very questionable. We are moving. Okay.
In the end, everything was fine. Just a false alarm. And I mean, look at this place.
What's going on here? Huh?
We just landed in Declan.
During this trip, we started realizing something. Day by day, we were living the full spectrum of life. We were feeling everything, all the emotions, all at once. That's what India does to you. This day, we left at 4 a.m., hoping to see the sunrise from one of the most epic viewpoints of the region. But it was raining, it was cold, it was foggy. We didn't see anything, not at this time. The only option was to surrender. Go back down the mountain and at least try to enjoy some sightseeing. That day reminded me of something. Life is full of highs and lows, and whether you are in the middle of one or the other, the important thing is to keep going, to surrender to the moment, because sometimes the surrender opens the door for something unexpected. Later that day, just before sunset, something completely unpredictable happened.
Okay, we almost were over with the sunset, and we heard the locals screaming for some reason. We were concerned that it was because of us, that we were invading some private space, but no.
And then we saw
There's a freaking elephant right here. Oh my god.
That moment reminded me, when you let go, life has a way of surprising you. That's the secret. That's the lesson I carried from this part of the trip. Surrender and let life show you its magic. That idea followed us into the next chapter. Being on a safari is the closest I felt to being a child again. You are being guided without really knowing where, expecting to discover something exciting, and accepting whatever moment is given to you. That kind of excitement, that kind of acceptance, connects me to my senses. It makes me feel present. Before arriving, a few people told us that seeing tigers here could be hard, that it wasn't always easy, that we would need probably some luck. But after everything we had experienced before, after seeing that elephant in the wild, after learning to let go, I had a feeling. I knew we were going to see them. I really knew it. On our very first safari, we did. 2 tigers. 1 male, 1 female. Seeing a tiger in the wild felt unreal, like something straight out of a dream. And that feeling stayed with me so many moments on this journey, it felt dreamlike. And somehow, I was living them. Bandipur reminded me of something important. When you stop forcing an outcome, when you trust what you feel, life often gives you more than you asked for. We didn't chase the moment, we allowed it. And once again, life surprised us. On our way to Vrindavan, I could already feel something building inside me. I wasn't sure what it was, maybe excitement, maybe fear, probably a bit of both. But as always, I challenged myself and moved forward, guided by curiosity and by the will to stick to the plan. We came to Vrindavan to witness Holi, which is one of the most important celebrations in India. But it wasn't exactly what we expected. As we walked closer to the center of the celebration, things started to change very fast. There are rituals here rooted in history and symbolism. At one point, that energy crossed the line. At least for me. I was hit, physically, so I decided to step back. We walked away quietly, letting the moment settle. I wasn't angry, I wasn't disappointed, I was just listening to myself. As we moved through the celebration, we met very different energies. Some people were incredibly kind, welcoming and joyful. Others were more aggressive. Holi is a celebration rooted in history, symbolism and devotion. It means something deep and beautiful to the people here. What we experienced was only a small moment inside something much bigger. Travel isn't always about pushing yourself no matter what. Sometimes it's about knowing where your boundaries are. And respecting a culture also means being honest with yourself. That day, Vrindavan didn't give me what I expected, but it gave me clarity. And that, in its own way, is a gift. I had been excited for this moment for a long time. And there was one clear intention here, to finally see the Taj Mahal. It's one of the wonders of the world, but nothing really prepares you for seeing it in person. We were the first ones to enter that morning. It was still before sunrise. The atmosphere around me was quiet, soft, and feeling quite unreal, to be honest. I remember seeing it from far away, slowly revealing itself, perfect, balanced, almost impossible to describe. For a moment, everything stopped. There was only admiration, the kind that doesn't need words. That morning felt dreamlike. The light, the silence, the symmetry. Standing in front of something so timeless made everything else feel very small. After Agra, we kept our way toward Jaipur. The energy shifted again. Jaipur felt calmer, like the trip was slowly coming to a close. We explored and let ourselves simply observe the daily life. It felt like a gentle landing, a moment to breathe, to feel that our mission here was complete. As the journey came to an end, I found myself looking forward to going home. Not out of escape, but out of reflection. This trip showed me a different reality with my own eyes. I felt it, I lived it, and I became part of it. Thinking about life back home, I felt deeply grateful for my health, for my relationships, for my peace, for the place where I live, for everything I already have. I realized how full my life really is. From now on, I'll know that I'll move through life differently, more relaxed, less anxious, more present. And maybe that's what travel really does. It doesn't give you answers, it gives you perspective. So I wonder, after everything you've seen here, what would you carry back home with you? Sometimes all it takes is stepping into the unknown to finally see it.